On behalf of Rotary Club of Madras, welcome all of you and can assure you that we're going to have a lovely evening. To take this evening forward, may I invite Rotarian Jacob Kurian, our Master of Ceremonies, to please come forward. Thanks, Jacob.
It's my pleasure to invite you to the fourth meeting of the Rotary Club of Madras of this year. I would now request our Sergeant-at-Arms, Rotarian Jayant Heldev, to call on the President of the Rotary Club of Madras, Rotarian Jayashree Sridhar. I would now request the President of the Rotary Club of Madras to call the meeting to order.
Meeting called to order. Good evening. May I request all the guests to rise for a minute of silent invocation, please. Thank you.
We taste alive and fresh in our minds and our hearts. In the Rotary Club of Madras, we have a unique system of requesting a different member at each meeting to share with us his or her understanding of the four-way test. Who better than Rotarian Sabina Narayan to share with us her experience of the four-way test of Rotary.
Thank you, Jakes. Namaste. The four-way test was clearly envisioned by very enlightened Rotarians for the catalytic manner in which it guides us in thought, word, and deed. Is it the truth? Well, certainly each of us interpret, experience, and perceive the truth in different forms and dimensions. But what is profound and deeply liberating is when it is clothed in the overarching qualities of compassion and service, like it is in Rotary. Is it fair to all concerned? Does it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I personally love how powerfully these very simple inquiries anchor and guide us and drive us to be more self-aware and mindful human beings. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabina. That was beautifully put, and that's the reason why we have different people speak to us, because each of us has an idea of the four-way test, but it comes out so beautifully when it is said by different people with their different perceptions and their different experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, music is the means to reach the inner soul of a person. The Rotary Club of Madras has created a music video to capture the enthusiasm and the essence of the Rotary Club of Madras. We have the pleasure of playing the same for you.
you very much. The RI president so I just want you to take us through this journey of RI and RCM and what we have done together. Thank you.
President Jayashree, fellow Rotarians, good evening all. At the outset, I would like to start off with a caveat, in fact two. One is that I'm going to speak about the history of a 94-year-old club. It doesn't in any way make all of us members of the Rotary Club of Madras any different. We are as much as Rotarians as all of you are, especially I'm addressing this to the guests here. And start and continue talking till the time the RI president arrives, and there'll be an abrupt end to my talk. So here goes. Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay. So, you know, for most of the members from outside of the Rotary Club of Madras, you may or may not know that the Rotary Club of Madras is the third oldest club in India and the oldest club in southern India. We were chartered on July 19, 1929 and inaugurated on May 10, 1929 in this very city at the Connemara Hotel. The first meeting was at the Connemara Hotel. Now, from 1929 to 1960, for 31 years, we were the only club in the city of Madras then. Today, I believe we have in excess of 170 clubs, and we are ready to be broken up into two city districts. So that's the kind of growth that Rotary has had in our part of the world. Now, I'm talking about our history with the experience that I've had in putting up a history book of ours. In the last 20 years, the third edition has come out. In the 90th year, the fourth will come out maybe in the next year. And because of that, I've been able to collate and collect a lot of data. Now, when we started, it was started by a Canadian. Today, we have a Canadian president, RI president with us here today. And our club was a self-manifested one. We did not have a sponsor club at all. We were formed by a Canadian called James Wheeler Davidson from the Rotary Club of Calgary, who actually traveled in the early 20s to Australasia. He went first to Australia and New Zealand in early 1920s, and 1928 onwards he came to Central Asia and Southeast Asia and set up clubs, Rotary clubs, all over here. And in India, he set up actually 3 clubs, the Bombay Club, the Rotary Club of Delhi, and the Rotary Club of Madras. But the Rotary Club of Delhi went defunct in 1931, so that leaves only the Rotary Club of Bombay, which is also chartered in 1929, 2 months before us, and the Rotary Club of Madras, which was, which still remains as the 2 James Wheeler Davidson clubs. We have now formed a club. He formed 32 clubs in all in this part of the world, and 25 of them are still active, including ours and Bombay. And now we formed a group called the James Wheeler Davidson Group. It would be interesting for 3232 to note that the first ever RI director from India was from the Rotary Club of Madras. It was one Sir Frederick E. James, who was the first RI director from India in the year 1933-34. He was also the first district governor for the whole of India, because then there were very few clubs. The whole of India was one district. So he was the first district governor, and the first official district conference was held in Madras then. So that is as far as James Wheeler Davidson goes. Today, we have produced 18 past district governors, and of which 3 of them are with us. All the rest of them are no more are members. And so James Wheeler Davidson, and he started his voyage by ship in 1928, and he first went in India. He first went to Bombay, set up the club in March 19, 1929. He set up the club in Bombay, and then from there he went to Delhi, And then from Delhi, he went to Calcutta. Calcutta was already existing because they started in 1920. But he activated that club. That club was actually the only club in India from 1920 to 1929. And so he activated them, brought them in line with the Rotary International statutory requirements. And from Calcutta, he came to Chennai, or Madras then, and formed our club on May 10, 1929, and chartered on July 19, 1929. The first Indian to join our club was Sir Mote Chettiar, but the first Indian president was Sir Muhammad Usman, under whose name the Usman Road is still there. The youngest member of our club then, which I think still holds, or probably one person might have, broken the record, was DC Kothari. He joined our club when he was only 21 years old. Legend has it that the invite went to his dad, but it was named DC Kothari. So he picked up the invite and went to the club meeting. And they found a very young man coming in for the meeting, but they accepted him because he was of his enterprise and the kind of friendly demeanor that he showed. Now we're in the 94th year of our existence, and the best part of this club is we have produced 93 different presidents. 94th is sitting here. We have not repeated a president at all, except in 1 year in the 1937-38, when I don't know the reason why, but one president repeated. But then in another year, there are two presidents exactly from July to December, from January to June. So it ultimately makes a number of 93 different presidents. So that's something which we were all very proud of. We have today sponsored 22 different clubs directly, but please may it be known that almost every club in southern India, except a few in Hyderabad, they all draw their lineage directly to the Rotary Club of Madras. Either they are a granddaughter, great-granddaughter club. And so today, in fact, I have the old figures with me because I was told that I come and speak up till the president comes for only recently in the afternoon, but I don't have the exact figures. As of July last year, whole of India had about 4,000 plus clubs and 170,000 members. Today, I think it's gone up to 180,000, and of which in southern India there are about 2,112 clubs. These are all old figures. I'm not giving you the right figures right now because they don't have them. So which means it's almost 50% of the Rotary activity in India is in southern India. Almost. It's not yet, but then almost 50%. So just imagine one Canadian comes from all over across the world, halfway across the world, starts a club in Madras, and that has today paved way for almost 50% of the Rotarians. Please, I think, in the whole of India. So this is something which is probably many people do not know. He was also called, Paul Harris himself gave him the sobriquet of Marco Polo of Rotary, because he went around the world. Rotary International then gave him a grant of $8,000, but then on his own, again, legend has it that he spent $250,000 of his own money. He took his wife and daughter along. Those days it was mostly by ship, voyage by ship. And then he went around forming all these clubs, and he himself would not have imagined that Rotary will be so vibrant one day as it is today. So that's why I keep saying this, and I don't tire of saying it, that James Wheeler Davidson is more important to our part of the world than even Paul Harris. Because Paul Harris has not visited India, whereas James Wheeler Davidson did, and he took the cause of Rotary forward. In all these voyages, James Wheeler Davidson was not a very good not a very good writer. So his wife took it upon herself, Lillian was her name, and she took it upon herself to record all these visits and clubs that they formed. And all the papers are today in the University of Calgary. Even all of you, if you just Google and say James Wheeler Davidson, University of Calgary, you have all the reports of everything, including the Madras Club. And it's so well documented. I don't know why they prefer to give it to the Rotary Club, University of Calgary, but probably it was just as well, because probably in Rotary International, although we have a fantastic archives department, which I visited myself, they may not have given the importance that it really asked for. I say this because we've been trying to make a pitch for making the name of James Wheeler Davidson more known, at least have an endowment in his name. Rotary International has not done that. In fact, I would request our president to take it up if she has the time with the Rotary International president and say that something should be named after James Wheeler Davidson. It was really important for this part of the world as far as Rotary is concerned. Until 1947, there were 68 clubs chartered in India, and that included those days Lahore, which was India then, and of which 8 clubs were directly chartered by the Rotary Club of Madras, which is a pretty decent percentage. And the first club that we formed in Madras was the Rotary Club of Madras South. That was in 1960. So they are the second club to be chartered in Madras, in Chennai now. But before that, the first club we chartered in India was the Rotary Club of Bangalore, which we chartered in 1934, Cochin in 1937, and so on. Now, I don't know whether most of you know that the TRF and the Rotary Club of Madras have had a very good relationship right from the beginning. We have thus far contributed $2.88 million as per the last count that Ambalawanan has given over the years. But we have got in for our projects probably more than $10 million. So that's the importance and efficacy of the Rotary Foundation, where when you give, you get back more than what you give. And the polio project in India was first started by the Rotary Club of Madras and a doctor in Vellore called Jacob John. And these are the people, in fact, here we have Representative P.D.J. Krishnaswamy, who's here, who was also involved. Chris Chitlek, Krish, Jacob John, all of them are involved in the initial eradication program of polio. While in the world it started in Manila, Philippines in 1979, which was the exact time when we started our red measles campaign here by importing vaccines from Canada. Those days, look, it's come a full circle. Those days we used to import vaccines from Canada and inoculate or vaccinate people here. But today, in COVID times, we are exporting vaccines from India to all these countries and many more. I think that's called COVID. So, and then the kind of sanctions that we've had in terms of 3H grants. Those days we used to have the 3H grants, which is health, hunger, and humanity grant. We don't have it anymore, I believe. And the first initial grant which came for polio, which was actually started, the Polio Plus campaign in India was started in Madras on May 1, 1987, much after the club started its own campaign by importing vaccines and involved the Tamil Nadu government to get the cold chain in. And that cold chain really helped, because without the government, the cold chain would not have worked, and without the cold chain, the vaccinations would have just gone, inactive. So, 2.5 million US dollars is the figure I have. So we received a grant of 2.5 million US dollars initially. And then also for Child's Trust Hospital, we have the CEO of Child's Trust here, Mr. Chandra Mohan. We received a grant of $680,000 initially when we put up the structure. I myself know I was not a Rotarian then, but I knew there were a lot of legal problems then. You had to go through it. It was, just lying like that for many years. But when the structure came up, I think we equipped the hospital then with equipment worth $680,000, which in today's terms would be probably 3 times, 4 times more, or even more. So that is another thing which we received from the foundation. Now, this is as far as the Rotary Club of Madras and the RI goes. We haven't had another representative on the RI board thus far, but then I think as a club we are doing great. What started as a club with all the head honchos of Madras today has a big spread of professionals from all various fields who are really forthcoming in helping a cause. And today the club is really doing well in terms of the number of projects that they do, the number of the money that is spent on projects, and the per capita spend on projects is probably really high, much higher than what it was a few years ago. We have today, our members are also very generous in donating to the TRF. We have 3 AKS members, starting from PDG JB Khamdar, who's here. And we also have about 52 plus, maybe more, 52 is the count that I have, major donors at different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. So our club is always forthcoming in giving to the foundation. And last year, under immediate past President Mohan Raman, our club has created a history of sorts in that we have collected and donated to the TRF $540,000, a single club. I remember when I was district secretary, when JB Kamdar was the governor, the district touched $500,000 for the first time. And that was a big celebration then. And today, one club, our club, has crossed $500,000. JB, do you remember that? Yeah. So, and of course, the district-wise, they're really going, hitting the ceiling. I think last year they've collected $2.5 million, which is number 3 in the country, which is absolutely fabulous. So the generosity is there, can be seen all over in 3232. Two other things which I would like to mention for the benefit of the members from other clubs. Although we are a 94-year-old club, this is our 94th year, you would not expect us to be in touch with the descendants of our charter members, but we are. We know 2 descendants, and we are still in touch with them, of our charter members. One lives, he's already 75 plus, or probably 80. He lives in Australia. He's not a Rotarian, but then we're in touch with him. And the other person is a Rotarian. He is the grandson of our charter president. Our charter president was one Jeffrey Armstrong. He was then the chairman of the Madras Port Trust. And his grandson rather, John Armstrong, is a member, past president of the Rotary Club of Chiswick and Brentford in UK. And we are in touch with him. We've invited them to come over anytime they want. And it's unfortunate that when John Armstrong came to Chennai to just see what his grandfather had done, he visited the Port Trust, but he was not aware that he was a Rotarian and charter president of our club. So he did not attend. This was many years ago, but now we've invited them to come over and be our guest. So this is something which is we're all proud of, that we're still in touch with members. And one other thing which I would urge all the other clubs to do is, we have put up a history book, and luckily we have a weekly bulletin going from 1929 onwards till now. It's weekly, we have bulletins, and that bulletin carries all the information. So with that as the base, we have brought out 3 editions of what is known as the Timeless Legacy. And that is something which clubs who are maybe 10 years, 15 years should start doing. And please put it up together. And if you have an e-copy of it, if you can send it to me through my president, I can put it up on the Rotary Global History Fellowship website, which is a 14,000 page website approved by RI, and where people from all over the world can know you and your club. So this is how you kind of develop contacts and so on and so forth. So that's something which I would urge you all to please consider and do it. Now, just to give you an idea of the number of clubs James Wheeler Davidson formed in this part of the world, as I said, in India it is Bombay and Madras now. In Egypt he formed Cairo. In Israel he formed Jerusalem. In Sri Lanka the Colombo Club, which is past RI Director Ravi Ravindran's club. And then he went on to Myanmar, those days Burma, and formed 3 clubs, Thiatmo, Rangoon, and one more. But then once the army took over, they all went defunct. But now the Rangoon Club is kind of revived with a new charter under the name of Rotary Club of Yangon, which is now the current name of Rangoon. And then he went on to start a club in Bangkok. In Malaysia, he formed 4 or 5 clubs in Ipoh, Seremban, and so on. And then he went to form Singapore, and finally Hong Kong. So all these clubs, we have, we formed a grouping called the James Wheeler Davidson Rotary Clubs. We've got a lapel pin, and that lapel pin we are very proud to wear. And we generally keep in touch with these people in terms of having meetings. We also want to kind of do things together on projects and meet up in RI conventions, take up a stall and meet up in RI conventions. So this is as far as James Wheeler Davidson goes. Yeah. Thank you. So I believe the time's up. I hope I've given you some dope about Madras.
We now have the Secretary's announcements. I would request our Secretary, Rotarian Asha Mathan, to come forward.
Good evening, Rotarians. As is customary, we have the announcements of birthday and wedding anniversaries. On 26th July, we have Rotarian Anuradha Java celebrating her birthday. 28th July, we have 2 birthdays, Rotarian Anthony Lobo and Rotarian Alankrit B. Arora. 29th July, we have 4, Rotarian Krishnamurthy Vijayan, Rotarian A. Shankar Narayanan, Rotarian Satyaram Ram, and Rotarian A. Guj Kumar. 1st August, we have 2 birthdays again, Rotarian Suman Vura and Rotarian Dr. Supriya Dabir Gautam. We have a couple of Anns celebrating their birthdays the coming week. 27 July, Anne Simran, wife of Rotarian Madhav Segal. 27 July again, Anne Malati Devi, wife of Rotarian M. Pratap Kumar. 30th July, we have 2, Anne Anita, wife of Rotarian L. Gopinath. 30th July again, Anne Dimple, spouse of Rotarian Jayant Hemdev. And 31st July, we have Anne Sangeeta, spouse of Rotarian Rajendra Mudliar. Couple of wedding anniversaries. 29th July, we have Rotarian Ashok Banerjee and Anne Srijata. 1st August, we have Rotarian Salim Mohammad Jamal and Anne Karima. The next weekly meeting of the Rotary Club of Madras would be on Tuesday at our regular venue, the Hyatt Regency, at 1:30 p.m. And we would have My Job talks by our newly joined Green Rotarians. Thank you.
Yes.
Let's give a round of applause to all the birthday boys, girls, and couples. Wedding anniversary. Thank you.
History is something that we have grown on. We are here today because of all the historical people, the moments, the efforts they've taken. And that is what we are enjoying, the fruits of all that. Thank you so much. Nobody could have gone into so much detail. Yes, we are all aware of snippets of information, but nobody can collate it like you. Thank you so much. May I now invite, it's a very momentous evening for Rotary Club of Madras and the district. I heartily welcome everybody who is here. May I now request our PDG, JB, to come and speak a few words. Sir.
Jai Shri, visiting Rotarians, my good friend PDG Rajesh Subramaniam, S.C. Governor, fellow Rotarians, it's always a pleasant surprise when you get called up to come and say a few words. Normally, we PDGs love to talk on the mic, but some of us get out of practice. This is a wonderful occasion. What better way to start off a year than have the RI President herself, the first woman president, when we have the third woman president in our own club. That's fourth, yes. Gopi has to correct me, please. So, I know under the leadership of each of our lady presidents, our club has done a great job, no less than any of us men president did. And I think Jayashree is not going to be an exception. She's going to do an excellent job. We have a great history to live up to. So I wish Jayashree and her team all the best. Mohan Raman has set great standards, $500,000 excess off. So congratulations, Mohan, you have created history. But all these records are meant to be broken. Now Mohan Raman didn't have a Mohan Raman to support him, but Jayashree has got a Mohan Raman to support her. I think this 500 can become 600. I wish you all the best. Congratulations.
President Jayashree and fellow Rotarians. Probably I will be the oldest member of Rotary clubs in District 3232 because I joined Rotary in 1967. And I came to Chennai in 1995. Before joining this club, I visited 12 clubs, whether I can join any of them, because this club is full of solvers. So I was afraid to come to this club. But after visiting all the 12 clubs, I decided that this is the best club to join. And I thoroughly enjoyed all my years in this Rotary Club. Wonderful presidents, each one is outstanding. And this is the only club, I have seen several clubs all over the world. This is the only club where chairmen of the committee, they individually take responsibility and do the work. You know, I go through all the bulletins of our club. I find some of the excellent job done by our directors and also the chairman of the various committees. I am really proud to be a member of the Rotary Club of Madras. Thank you, Jayashree, for having
me. So we are very proud of our 3 PDGs.
Thank you, President. Good evening, friends. I'm really honored that I've been invited to say a few words. After hearing the history of what Gopi said, and after hearing everybody, the records we have, every one of us should feel so proud to be a member of the Rotary Club of Madras. And I don't know, I just want you to tell you that what kind of a power and the responsibility and the reputation you hold and which you have to carry back for many more years through your future generations of Rotarians, and what Rotary Club of Madras is going to be in the world of Rotary will depend on what you are all going to do. We have done mega projects. I don't want to say about any of these projects, including the 3H project, the so many projects which you have seen, but we are a standing example, a monument which everyone should be proud. You should share this story with your family, with your children, so that they be part of it, and let us carry forward this tradition for many generations to come. Thank you so much.
Is past president, I didn't see. Yeah. Yes, past President Shrikant, please come and say a few words on. No, he is part of Wash Rag. Yes.
President Jayashree, Secretary Asha, Gopi, JX, and my dear friends, this is an evening dedicated to the RI President Jennifer Jones. So with the permission of Jayashree, I'll just take a minute to say something related to that, and I won't take it too long. I didn't expect to be called up, so this is off the top of the head. We heard from the past district governors about Jennifer Jones being the first international president of RI. And perhaps before I came, Gopi might have related the story to you. I think it was in 1977 that the Rotary Club of Duarte in California admitted women in violation of the Rotary Club, the Constitution of RI and the standard Constitution and the bylaws of RI. A year later, the club's charter was terminated. But these were determined people. They went on appeal. First to the California Court of Appeals, then to the Supreme Court of California, which refused to hear them, and finally to the United States Supreme Court. I would like to tell you an argument that was officially put forward in court by the lawyer representing Rotary International. He said, this is not a motel for us to admit anybody and everybody. The Supreme Court of the United States finally said, no, we won't quite accept that argument. You have to admit women. Of course, the reasons they gave were a little intricate. Now that started a schism. Women were admitted, had been forced, the Rotary International was forced to admit women in the United States, but the rest of the world, they were still barred. So obviously Rotary could not live with this dichotomy, and the following year, I think it was thrown open, 89, it was thrown open to the world over. I think that's for the betterment of Rotary, for the betterment of mankind, and in aid or service to the community. And I'm so proud and so happy that we in the Rotary Club of Madras have always recognized the potential of the women in our midst to lead us, not just to be our members. And I sincerely hope that very soon, Jayashree was talking about, we're proud of our 3 past district governors. Yes. How about it? Yes. So we are looking at one of you assuming the post of governor of this district, and perhaps to go way beyond. Thank you. All the best.
The RI President will be joining us in less than a minute. When she enters, may I request everyone to rise and give her a very warm welcome. I need some help from the hotel side to remove these chairs. It's a very nice evening, personally and as President of RCM, that, it's the RI President is coming to Madras, and she is coming to our meeting first. I think it's a wonderful moment. I think we should cherish that and enjoy your evening. Yes.
It's amazing. It's an amazing gesture on our part, and it's a proud moment.
Even these two? Yeah. Okay, fine.
And it's a proud moment not only for the Rotary Club of Madras, but for the entire district.
Style, apparently. So these are instructions given by the RI that all the dignitaries will only be in the round tables here, and only those who speak will come to the podium and speak, or those who are being recognized only, they will come to the stage. But there is no system of the dignitaries made to sit on the stage. So there are no chairs on the stage. So you must be wondering whether the meeting is coming to an end. No, it is just beginning. This is a book about our club. It's called The Timeless Legacy. So happy to give it to you.
I'd like to thank, I've been attending your meetings last year during the virtual time, and they were so lovely to attend. That's why I'm here today, to be with all of you. Thank you very much, please. I'd like to thank Gopi, who has been together, and we've been in touch with each other. Thank you so much, please.
Thank you so much. We use past President Gopinath to be in touch with the rest of the world. Not just Delhi or
Please put your hands together for the Rotary International President, Rotarian Jennifer Jones. Please sit down.
please be seated. Thank you.
Rotary International President, Rotarian Jennifer Jones, may I extend a very warm welcome on behalf of the Rotary Club of Madras and the entire district to India. It is a singular honor for us to have the Rotary International President, Rotarian Jennifer Jones, our district governor.
Warm welcome to our RI President, Jennifer Jones. We have all been waiting for you, and it's a very nice evening for us. You have made it so special. Thank you so much for joining us. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all the past district governors, district officials, my club Rotarians, and everyone who has joined us this wonderful evening. I would like to not take too much time, but just a minute to say why this is so special for me. I am the 94th president of this club. We are a 94-year-old club, and just in one line to tell you that this is the first club which was formed in South India and the third which was formed in India. So every single Rotary club in the south of my country can trace its roots to the Rotary Club of Madras. This particular meeting is important as the RI President has come to unveil, to inaugurate, launch our projects. Now, what are these projects? Who are the beneficiaries and why is it so important? I'll just say a small anecdote which happened long back, even before I was born. So in 1947, this country, my country, on 15th of August 1947, in the middle of the night, the British government gave us freedom. So we were all free and the country was celebrating, yes, we are now free, we are not under any other foreign power. But then suddenly everyone realized that we don't have a constitution. We were only following the British system. You are a Commonwealth country too. So all the legal minds, all the political leaders, Jawaharlal Nehru, B.R. Ambedkar, everyone they ran to just one person, the one person who helped us win the freedom, that is the Mahatma Gandhi. They went to him and said, "So what should our constitution be like?" It seems he told them, this has been recorded in the journals. He said, "Think of the poorest man on the street and what you can do for him. Your constitution will be in place." This is the essence of Rotary. This is the essence of all the projects that we are going to be unveiling, both in Rotary Club of Madras as well as the district clubs. This is what makes this evening so much more special, that you are here to inaugurate all this. Thank you so much, and I extend my warm welcome to Director Mahesh Godpagi, Director A.S. Venkatesh, Director-elect Raju Subramaniam, DG 2981 Selvanathan, DG 2982 Saravanan, DG 3000 Gerald, DG 3231 JK and Palani, and my district governor, Dr. N. Nandakumar, and all the dignitaries. There cannot be a better way to inaugurate these projects. There cannot be a bigger happiness for me as a person, as a Rotarian. Thank you so much.
Rotarian Jennifer Jones. Let's have a warm round of applause once again for Rotarian International President Jennifer Jones. But we need an equally warm round of applause. I would also like to welcome the husband of Jennifer Jones, Rotarian Nick Krychek, who has come all the way to be with us. One round of applause. Thank you for coming. We will now start off with the projects of the Rotary Club of Madras. Rotary International President, Rotarian Jennifer Jones, has unveiled her vision for Rotary. I now request Rotarian International President, Rotarian Jennifer Jones, on stage to inaugurate some of our projects which are in line with her vision. I would request Rotarian President Jayashree to please join Rotarian Jennifer Jones on the stage. The first of the projects is the donation of the medical equipment to the Mayiladure Children's Hospital project. I would request Rotarian Bobby Balakrishna to join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, hospitals and doctors have always been our saviors. Rotarian Bobby will say a few words on the help extended by us in this hospital project.
Dignitaries and friends, imagine Rotary is a theme that urges you to dream. And keeping with the glorious tradition of 93 years of Rotary Club of Madras and 94th President Jayashree Sridhar spelled out our own theme and focus on women and development. Research shows reasons. They will take care of the family at the cost of their own health. Hence, working in the area of testing and diagnosis is the first step towards achieving a larger goal. Amongst the various initiatives to achieve this lofty goal, the team will focus on the following. RCM has adopted 5 villages in rural suburb about 70 kilometers out of Chennai. We will focus on the women and children out of this area and provide regular medical checkup and diagnose their health. If required, they will be referred to a suitable hospital for further assistance. We are today donating an ultrasound machine to the government Periyar hospital in rural town called Mayiladure, courtesy McDermott Alpha, who donated about 10 million rupees towards effort in the last 3 years. We are very grateful for their continued support. This hospital is district headquartered hospital providing healthcare services to over 1 million people of this rural district. This hospital has a capacity of 612 beds, 4,500 outpatients daily, and over 500 inpatients. It delivers about 500 kids every month. For women, we will focus on cancer detection. We have recently donated a mammogram machine worth 75 lakhs to the ACS College Hospital. We are in the process of donating another mammogram machine at Devakote, covering close to 5 big towns another rural district at a cost of about $150,000. Apart from helping create the infrastructure for testing, we will now proceed to conduct regular medical camps to ensure testing, especially for breast cancer among women. We aim to test about 10,000 women this year. We are in the process of creating a mobile diagnostic van that will be deployed along with the Greater Chennai Corporation to cover the areas of greatest hesitancy and address the largest number of a target group. Our club theme for the year is Engage, Empower and Enrich, and we are confident our projects will be perfectly aligned to this theme and strengthen the activities of RCM. We also hope to create a movement that can be carried forward many years, and we look forward for all your support and endeavor. Thank you.
I would request the donors, Ravi Batkar, to come forward along with Dr. Senthil Kumar, the RMO of General Hospital of the hospital. We would also request the District Governor and Director Venkatesh to join us on stage. The steps taken by us in 5 schools.
Vanakkam, Rotary Jennifer Jones, President Rotary International, and my fellow Rotarians. This is indeed a momentous day, and really we are very happy. Now, I would like to present the highlights of WASH in School project, which we are going to implement in 5 schools in Tamil Nadu. WASH stands for Water, Sanitation and Hygiene. This WASH project was initiated in the year 2016 by RCM for developing countries, and they have picked 5 countries. In that, India is one among them. And we really thank for choosing India for this project by RCM. The main objective of Rotary WASH in School Target Challenge is to inspire Rotarians and inspire Rotary clubs to work together to achieve common goal that integrates water, sanitation and hygiene with basic education and literacy. The intent here is that accessibility of good toilet in schools will attract more children to attend school, especially girl children who are often forced to skip schools during their menstrual cycle. Our Rotary Club joined hands with the district to build 165 toilets in 5 schools with adequate number of urinals and segregated toilet blocks for boys, then girls and teachers. Then in addition to that, group washing stations also we are going to build. And you see, for especially girl children, it's very much essential and need the napkin change room for girls we are going to introduce with sanitary napkin dispenser and disposal equipment based on UNICEF and WHO standards. This project impacts 4,600 children, and the total cost of this project is around 10 million rupees, I can say. Having built this WASH project in 15 schools and impacted 9,600 plus children, we recognize what we have addressed, the critical issue of sustainability. To complete the circle of sustainability and inclusivity, RCM's interaction includes the Parents Teachers Association to guarantee a feeling of ownership and accountability. Now, RCM collaborates with a well-established NGO called Nalandana. Why we are collaborating in the sense to use the creative communication methods for creating awareness and motivation to improve their health and well-being. Here we have a deadline to complete this all 5 school project before December 2022. Now, RCM believes if we can imagine, we can achieve it. And in doing so, we will engage, empower, and enrich our community. Thank you very much.
Quickly go through the motions so that we can listen to the world leader. Thank you.
Once Director Venkatesh comes, Rotarian President Jennifer Jones, may I request you to unveil the plaque. There is one more plaque to be unveiled. We now come to the inauguration of the Sithalapakam Lake. I would now request past President Rotarian P.N. Mohan to join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, by 2025 it is predicted that half the world's population is going to face water scarcity. We, the Rotary Club of Madras, have taken huge steps to reverse this trend in Tamil Nadu and hopefully soon in many more places. Rotarian Mohan will say a few words on the steps taken by us.
Thank you, Jake. I consider it an honor to speak today in the presence of the first Lady President of the Rotary International. Welcome. I'd like to say that in the year 1718, when I was the President, I read a report by Niti Aayog, which had replaced the Planning Commission in India. And they came out with some scary statistics where they said that 21 cities in India have gone dry. And out of that, the 4 large cities, Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, and Chennai, have totally gone dry. And that is when the thought process came that we should start restoring lakes in the city, and we started doing that. So far, we have done about 7 lakes, and we have spent almost close to 500 million rupees in doing this. Because of paucity of time, we're not able to show you all the lakes, but since the Rotary International President's here, we just completed the 7th lake, Sithalapakam Lake, which is a 200-acre lake, and it is benefiting more than 200,000 people and 500 acres of farmland. And this is going to be a huge benefit. The lake is ready, and I'm happy to show you the audio visual so that President Jennifer can have a glimpse of at least one of the lakes as how it was before we started, and how it was during the construction stage, during the restoration stage, and how it looks today after the restoration. Can we have the audio visual, please? Already showed? All right, okay. Okay, and now I hope and I request the more and more clubs in this particular district do take up this lake restoration, and jointly we can save the city of Chennai from water scarcity, and so that the poor people get enough water. Thank you so much indeed. May I request the President.
Thank you, Mohan, for telling us so much in such a crisp, wonderful fashion. We now go to the launch of the C-Arm project at the Child Trust Hospital. I request Rotarian Dr. Bala Ramachandran to join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Child Trust Hospital.
And for those of you who don't know, Kanchi Kamakodi Child Trust Hospital is a 200-bedded non-profit children's hospital in Chennai, which is nearly 40 years old. As was mentioned by Rotarian Gopinath earlier, RI, Rotary Club of Madras and Rotary International have always been supporters of our club, and this has been ongoing for since it started. So this particular project involves the acquisition of an equipment called a C-arm or an image intensifier. What it basically does is it allows you to take cine X-rays during surgery, before surgery, and then being done has achieved what it is supposed to achieve. You can't exactly wait for X-rays to be done and then be developed, etc. So this is something which is used in pediatric surgery, it is used in neurosurgery, it is used extensively in orthopedic surgery, it's also used for inserting various kinds of catheters, etc. So it's something which is essential, and this equipment, along with certain other equipment, including patient monitors for the pediatric emergency room and pediatric intensive care unit, infusion pumps, and a drill for orthopedic surgery. All of this is being donated under this particular global grant, the total value of which is around 64 lakhs or about $78,000 in today's money. And I'm indeed extremely thankful to all the donors, the Rotary Club of Madras, and everyone who has helped to make this possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rotarian Bala. I would now request RI President, Rotarian Jennifer Jones, to unveil the plaque. I would also request the CEO of Child Trust Hospital and the Medical Director, Mr. Ramesh, to come forward so that the plaque can be handed over by Rotary International President. We would request Thank you, Dr. Bala. We now come to the launch of the mobile. President Jayashree will say a few words on the steps taken by us to provide help to such women.
I'll take less than 30 seconds. So during COVID, Rotary Club of Madras, we launched this COVID vaccination bus, which was so active in the last 2 years and has helped vaccinate lakhs and lakhs of people. Now, with COVID and the vaccination program coming to an end, the bus is being repurposed into, may I have the video please? It's now becoming a woman and health bus. So it's going to go across the city to the villages as a diagnostic and a basic medical check. Yes, you have to. That's the bus. Lead for this program is Rotarian Bobby Balakrishna, who is so good at all this. So absolutely, it's already a hit. It's only been launched today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. We now come to the contribution to TRF. I think Rotary International President Jennifer Jones, these two next topics should be of great interest to you. The first one is our contributions last year to the TRF. I now request immediate past President Rotarian Mohan Raman to join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the fundamental principles of life is giver's gain, or what goes around comes around. What you give to others comes back to you multifold. Now, this is a theory in many areas, but it's in Rotary, it's a fact right before your eyes. It's the Rotary Foundation which works, and immediate past President Mohan Raman will say a few words on the contribution by our club in the last year.
They say you have to imagine, and John Lennon, I guess, is someone whom President Jennifer Jones is extremely inspired by. I didn't imagine that we would touch $540,000 last year. President Jennifer, I am here to take 30 seconds on what we did last year, and the current president will outline her plans for next year. I'd like to start by saying every one of the $539,429 came from RCMers. Their family trusts, their businesses, and their corporates. Nothing came from outside. This is all the generosity of the Rotary Club of Madras and its Rotarians, and how we view the foundation as something that is given back to us. Over the years, we have given over $2 million, and we have received probably in excess of $10 million. So much so that when you go to the boardroom of the Child's Trust Hospital to which you just donated the C-arm, the only picture I saw is that of a Rotarian from Canada, a person called Rotarian Ken Hobbs. His portrait alone hangs and adorns the boardroom of the Child's Trust Hospital, which shows how much Rotary has helped and how we can help Rotary. So therefore, this was the only point I wanted to make. There have been a few teething problems and troubles we have faced with certain other things. I don't want to bore you and the audience with details. I will send you a separate mail through the RA director requesting you to take up a few aspects with the foundation to help us smoothen things up and see that 500 can become 600 and 600 can soon become $1 million. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'd like to thank all my donors, starting from the Arts Club Society members, PDG, Kamdar, Vijay Bharti, Ranjit Pratap, major donors, level 1 to level 3, and every single Paul Harris Fellow member who became a Paul Harris Fellow. Thank you all. It is your money which has gone to a good place and come back to us. Thank you.
I think IPP Mohan Raman has been very humble in just saying this, but this benchmark that he has set is the highest in Rotary Club of Madras. I don't know about the district, so it's a proud moment. I request RI President to pin the past presidents. Thank you so much. Yes, please. Start.
We now have the launch of another project, which is the water and sanitation project at 3 villages. And I request President nominee Rotarian Chella Krishna to join us on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, clean water and proper sanitation is a massive need in our villages and can save thousands of lives and have a powerful effect on the safety of women and girl children. Rotarian Chella Krishna will say a few words on how we are in the process of changing lives with this project.
RI President, making villages open defecation free has been an area of continuous focus at RCM since 2014, past President Srikanth's year. Our impact in this area has been to transform 11 villages by building over 1,680 toilets, and we have positively impacted the lives of over 10,000 beneficiaries. In 3 villages this time, Settilapakam Panchayat, Narikoravar Colony and the Amanjikare village, we shall be constructing 180 toilets, and the number of beneficiaries shall exceed over 1,100. In these villages, we plan to make our basic objective by building toilets and effecting behavioral change. We realize there's no point in building toilets without building the mental will to use these infrastructure. This is done by partner organizations like Nalandana, who help to perform activities like triggering, which initiate to help focus on hygiene.
We've obtained all approvals for these toilet construction, and we plan to start the project in a couple of days and hope to complete it in 6 months, say by Jan 2023. The approximate cost of this project in our estimate is 5 million rupees. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rotarian Chala Krishna. It's an amazing project, and can I request Rotarian Jennifer Jones to unveil the plaque. Ladies and gentlemen, I now come to one of our jewels in the crown. Handing over of refurbished schools to Smiles projects, I request past District Governor Rotarian Benjamin Cherian to join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, schools are critical in the development of our future citizens and leaders, but the infrastructure in many schools is crumbling and in a state of disrepair. Past District Governor Benjamin Cherian will say a few words on what we have done to get such schools back on track and the children back in school enjoying themselves.
Good evening, President Jennifer Jones, RI dignitaries, brothers and sisters in Rotary. I'm extremely happy and proud that you are here to inaugurate the 4 of the schools refurbished under the Schools into Smiles project. In fact, the Schools into Smiles project was initiated in 2004 for the renovation of 100 schools in the centenary year, and many of the past presidents like Glenn Estes, Cargill, Hemstenhammer, and Will Wilkinson have inaugurated some of these schools. Now, under this global grant, we have provided one unique thing is the e-learning initiatives in every one of these schools, because they have access to the latest form of education which motivates the children to come back to the government schools, which have been losing attendance. Now, this has encouraged the attendance to go threefold. This is what we are trying to do it. And our Rotary Club of Madras has taken this initiative of literacy, which is one of the focus themes of Rotary, and we will take it forward for many more years with your kind help. And I would request you to inaugurate the 4 schools which have been done under the global grant. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian PDG Benji. We now come to the future. We've talked about the past and now it's the future. Immediate past President Rotarian Mohan Raman spoke on what has been done for the Rotary Foundation. A wonderful job indeed. Now equally important, President Jayashree would like to say a few words on what our club is planning to do for the foundation in the coming year.
I took over as president only on first. Past president is making me run so fast it's not funny. So I think I've just about touched $50,000 in the 3 weeks. So, but then I have hope. My club is a very vibrant club, and there are a lot of people who are willing to contribute. And that is the advantage of such programs where they see good things being done. So I think I have my journey set. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now comes the highlight of the evening. We have with us Rotary International President Rotarian Jennifer Jones. We are all eagerly awaiting to know more about her, and who better to introduce her to us than our own Rotarian Kamala Ramakrishnan. Please join us on the dais. Rotarian Kamala Ramakrishnan is herself highly distinguished in Rotary. She rose to the highest levels of inner wheel. She also had the distinction of becoming the first international inner wheel president to address the first plenary session of the Rotary Convention, which was held at Los Angeles when Rotarian Will Wilkinson was the RI president. Ladies and gentlemen, Rotarian Kamala Ramakrishnan.
Rotarian President of RI International, Rotarian Jennifer Jones, and our own President Jayashree. Let me first say how honored I am to be given this important task of introducing the first Lady President of Rotary International to our club members. Having heard her for the first time when she attended our club meeting on the Zoom platform a few years back, I must say I have been much taken up by her way of talking and her communication. But this is just one aspect of this multidimensional person. President Jennifer Jones is the founder and president of Media Street Productions, Inc., a 25-year-old award-winning media company in Windsor, Ontario. She started this television production company when she was in her late 20s, wowing bank officials with her business plan, negotiating a lease and investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into her equipment. She claims all this was possible as she was always open to new experiences, which is what has brought her into Rotary too. In 1996, months after she started her media company, the manager of the local cable station invited our president to a Rotary meeting, and she realized that she had also come home. Windsor, Ontario has always been a home where, save for a few post-college years, working in the Turks and Caicos Islands and Manhattan, she has lived there all her life. And now she saw herself becoming a proud member of the Rotary Club of Windsor, Roseland, which she also claims is her home. Over the years in Rotary, she has served as RI Vice President, RI Director, Training Leader, Committee Chair, Moderator, and District Governor. Her talents have strengthened Rotary reach and impact through many roles: Trustee of the Rotary Foundation, Co-Chair of the End Polio Now Make History Today campaign, raising funds alongside Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Our President Jennifer Jones, a leader in cultivating experiential fundraising opportunities such as Rotary's Polio Golf Day in Jupiter, Florida, with Jack Nicklaus in Jupiter, Florida, USA, which raised over $5.25 million for polio eradication in one single day. And the innovative virtual COVID-19 Rotary Response event that raised money for COVID-19 relief projects and showcased Rotary's response across the globe. I feel the seeds of this ability was laid years back when, as the oldest of 3 children, she ran lemonade stands to earn money to give to charity, and recalls organizing a carnival in her family's yard to benefit children with muscular dystrophy. Growing up, my parents had given us wings to do service in our community, she says. Today, her mom, dad, and one of her brothers and his wives are Rotarians. Her other brother created a painting that inspired her presidential ties and scarves. Working alongside political figures, celebrities, and global leaders, she uses her voice to raise awareness and hundreds of millions of dollars to eradicate disease, support peace, and provide clean water and sanitation in the developing areas of the world. Her skill as an expert storyteller, which you all might know about, inspires hope and promise and motivates people to action. She has received many honors and recognitions, including Rotary's Service Above Self Award and the Citation for Meritorious Service, the YMCA Peace Medallion, the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal, and the Wayne State University Peacemaker of the Year Award, a first for a Canadian, I believe. She and her husband, Nick, are members of the Rotary Foundation Arch Clump Society and the Big West Society. President Jones is married to Rotarian Nick Rayachi, a local family physician. They share a love for many activities, including travel, cycling, golf, and relaxing at the family cottage. And they share a thirst for adventure, which has included cresting the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa. So how do Rotarians see our beautiful RI President? She's just amazing. She's a rock star. She makes everyone feel special. That's why everyone feels that they know Jen so well. All I can think about is the energy she has. These are but a few of the many accolades I saw floating around in the net and thought I'll share some with you. Over and over, people mention that she has an easy way with members. That for years, everybody knew she would be the first female Rotary president. That she is a new kind of leader, with her emphasis on the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. She is the perfect leader today to spread the word about the good that Rotary does in the world and inspire its members to keep going. With great pride as a Rotarian and as a woman, I present to you our attractive
Maybe some other meetings can happen. Thank you, sir.
You're not you shared that, and it's a wonderful memory of the time that we were together 2 years ago, so thank you very much. Thank you.
A shawl is considered a material of honor and is one of the highest marks of respect that we can give. For the wonderful work that you have done in Rotary, we would like to honor you by presenting you with a shawl in our traditional style. In addition to the above, we are also one of the Rotary clubs founded by Rotarian James Wheeler Davidson. James Wheeler Davidson was from the Rotary Club of Calgary. Ladies and gentlemen and fellow Rotarians,
Supporting your club this evening, and we've already had introductions from so many of our wonderful guests here. Let me just say, all protocols observed. We have been in Chennai for maybe an hour and a half, and have already re-engaged with so many friends, and also to be able to hear about the incredible projects that were inaugurated tonight, nothing short of incredible. I know that every single one of the projects that you announced tonight have one common thread that weaves through them. Everything we do leads to peace. Every single project, every single dollar we donate, that we put into our foundation that comes back, as we heard so well earlier this evening, works to create world peace through understanding. Not just the absence of war, but the absence of want. The want for clean water, the want for a good meal, the want for education. You're tackling these in a brilliant fashion. The Rotary Club of Madras, I remember well attending the virtual meeting 2 years ago, and I say this not to sound that I'm making this up on the spot, but it was the most well-organized virtual meeting I think I've attended in all the virtual meetings I've attended. It was so well done, so well orchestrated, and I remember it well, and the breadth and scope of what you shared during that call is equal to that of what we're hearing tonight of these wonderful projects. I think that hearing about each one of them is one of the most important things that you can do. Telling your story. As you heard, I am a big proponent of storytelling. It has to go, though, outside of this room. We need to shout from the rafters the good work that we're doing in our own communities and across the world. The reason that I got on a plane and came here is because I want to talk to you about telling your stories. We're actually starting the beginning, Nick and I, the beginning of what we've termed the Imagine Impact Tour. We're visiting 8 different locations in our globe during the presidential year to bring along with us top-tier media, social media influencers, and other notables to 8 different locations to showcase high-impact, sustainable projects that are being led by our Rotary Foundation, one in each of the areas of focus, and an 8th, which will focus exclusively on polio. That's where we're going next week, to Pakistan, to meet face-to-face with the female health workers who are immunizing children every day. Part of the reason why that's important to me is the opportunity to say 2 incredibly powerful words. Thank you. I offer those same words to you tonight. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing. But my call to action is to tell these stories. Tell them to people so they understand what Rotary does. And it's not Rotary, it's what our Rotary family does. What you do every day to make sure that others' lives are being touched in very profound ways. We've often been told to do our good work quietly and not for recognition. And while that's noble, it really has kept us quiet and in the background. We've done research over the past decade about the awareness level of our organization in the world. And the reality is, out of 10 that were asked, 2 had some familiarity with our organization. I don't know about you, but my heart broke when I heard that. Because for all of us, doing good in the world is part of our DNA. We need the rest of the world to know what it is that we're doing so that when we want to invite someone into our organization who is of the quality that we want to be a member, that they know who we are, that we don't hear that question of, what's Rotary? We all know it and love it, and it's a gift that we want to give to others. We want good people in our organization. We call ourselves people of action. I've added on 2 other phrases this year. We're people of action, we're people of purpose, and we're people of influence. There is no greater example. The influence that we have in a very positive way than what we've seen here tonight with what you've accomplished and what's going to happen in the next year to 2 years as those projects unfold. But the rest of the story is going to be told in another generation. When a young child had the ability to use a restroom and attend school and not miss school because of her menstrual cycle. Think of the impact that that's going to have. Think of the impact that some young child, perhaps a young boy, has access to clean water and doesn't get sick. And we all know the cycle that happens there, that he's able to go to school, he's able to become educated, he's able to learn and grow and thrive. Think of the young mom who was diagnosed with breast cancer really early and then was treated, able to have a family, able to grow up. Everything that you've told us tonight is affecting generations to come. We'll never know the impact, but I certainly hope that when you put your head on your pillow at night, that you know that lives have been changed. Lives have been saved. Families are intact, and communities are growing and thriving. So to each and every one of you, let me offer those 2 words, the important words that I just mentioned. Thank you. Thank you for all that you are doing and all that you are going to do. So very blessed to be with you for the next 2 days. I know that we're going to have an opportunity to connect, to share some stories, to be able to talk about our love of Rotary together, and perhaps have a little bit of fun. So with that, I will turn this back over to you. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and let's have some fun.
Please come to happy birthday.